Are you a woman over 45? If so, I'm guessing that you're looking at money and your finances through a different lens now. And you have probably been feeling a little bit of lost as to what's next for me. How can I have money support me in living out the lifestyle that I want in the next chapter of my life? What you really want is a map, a financial roadmap, and someone who can maybe show you the map or help you design your own map. You know there are financial advisors out there, but you're not sure if they're the right people to talk to. And then you may have also heard about this thing called financial coaching. But what does a financial coach do, really? And what can they do for you? So in this video, I'm going to answer these questions for you to help you make those decisions. And so in this video, I'm going to show you what are the differences between the two, and then how you can decide for yourself. Hi, my name is Yulin Lee. I have helped hundreds of women in midlife, helping them to become more confident about their financial future, but also help them create their own financial roadmap so that they can truly start to live their dream life, knowing that they have the financial backing to support it. Now, first, let's talk about the distinctions between the title. What is a financial advisor? Well, financial advisor is someone who is professionally trained. They are licensed and they're also regulated by different agencies like SEC or FINRA. They are trained to manage and invest the money that you have already accumulated. They work with you with your retirement planning. They work with you on perhaps estate planning. They may also talk to you about your insurance needs. They are the person who help you figure out what to do with the money that you already have saved up, accumulated, right? They help you build wealth. They help you with the execution of investments. They also get paid by the amount of money that you have. It's usually a percentage. You may hear a term called AUM, asset under management, and they usually charge a percentage based on AUM. So a company may say we charge 1% of the money that you have with us. So if you have a $1 million investable assets for them to manage, then their fee might be 1% of that, which is $10,000 a year. Typically, a financial advisor would have some kind of minimum of amount of money that you need to have in order to work with them. Some may start at $1 million, others may be $100K or even $50K or maybe even $25K. So there's a minimum amount of money you need to have to work with a financial advisor. So now, what is a financial coach? Well, financial coaching as an industry, there's no specific regulation, which means that anybody can claim themselves as a financial coach. So as a consumer, you do have to be careful in that whenever you talk to a financial coach, you want to know what is their background, what qualifies them to be a financial coach. There are companies out there who does training and certification of helping someone to become a financial coach. But again, that's company by company. It's not an industry standard. So what does a financial coach do? Well, they usually start with helping you to figure out what is your relationship to money. Because you know what? Your relationship to money is the core foundation of everything you do around money. All the decisions you make around money is based on your relationship to money. So this is the fundamental core, most important work that I think everyone needs to do, is to really understand what is your relationship to money. Because we all are born in a certain family and with certain culture. What that also means is that we probably have inherited a lot of other people's stories and narratives, especially around money, that which may or may not be true, right? So these are the work that we need to work through so that we can become more empowered and make better decisions around money. And so that's what a money coach does, is they help you really sort through, understand, and improve not only your relationship with money, but also once you know that better, then the next step is what are your habits, right? They may work with you on how you manage your cash flow, whether you do budgeting, whether you do, or we can call it spending, planning. Some financial coaches, if they have financial background, they may also teach you about investing. So there's a whole wide range of topic that a financial coach can do and help you work with. It's really based on person to person. So the work that a financial coach do with you can really get into the emotional and psychological layers of your behaviors around money. And these are not the kind of things that a financial advisor would do for two reasons. One, they may not be trained in that area. Number two, they are not paid based on that, right? They get paid based on their performance of how well they can invest your money. Now, as a coach, how they make money is they charge you for their coaching service. And because of that, usually there's no minimum requirement in terms of how much money you need to have in order to work with a financial coach. Because their work is not about the amount of money you have. Their work is primarily focused on you as the owner of your money. So in short, a financial advisor helps you manage and invest the money that you already have accumulated. The focus is on the money. A financial coach helps you get clarity on your relationship to money, and they help you reframe about how you think and feel about money, and they also help you build different habits, build confidence, so you can make better decisions going forward. So the work with a financial coach is primarily focused on you. Now that you understand the distinction between what is a financial advisor and what is a financial coach, before we answer the question of, well, who should I use or who should I get help from, I want to talk about something else first, because I think it's important to address that first, which is a gap. And I think it's a gap that most people don't realize that it's there, but it needs to be filled first. And so here's the gap. Most women in midlife, they have had a lot of experiences in life. And what that means is that they actually have a lot of wisdom. But when it comes to money and finance, they don't see themselves as someone who's wise, who's capable, who's smart. Oftentimes they feel small. They second guess themselves. They doubt themselves. They don't feel confident. And there's always a sense of shame and guilt around money. And I think deep down the issue is that they carry this story of, I'm not good enough, or I don't deserve this, I don't deserve that. But those are inherited stories and narratives from our parents, our culture, our society. But it's there. And they've been carrying these for their entire lifetime. And these are the exact things that have been keeping them small, especially in the area of money and finance. On the surface, they may think that they have a money problem. But in reality, they don't have a money problem. They have an identity problem. And why is that important to acknowledge that right now? Well, because by acknowledging the gap, and if you can identify yourself in that gap, then it helps you to know exactly what problem are you trying to solve when you're trying to see who should I hire to help me, right? Who you hire to help you depends on the problem you're trying to solve. So if you have a lot of challenges in your relationship with money, then that needs to be solved first, right? So that's the reason why I want to bring this gap up first. And that gap needs to be filled before any financial plan can do the magic to do the work for you. Now, I also want to talk about what's special about women in midlife. Well, midlife is not just an age. It's also a financial inflection point. Now, some of you may be, you're in a peak earning phase in your life, or you may be restarting after a career pause. And some of you may be going through a divorce or experiencing widowhood, or maybe you're empty nesting, or you're also having to take care of your aging parents. Midlife is a phase, it's a decade where it seems like all these big things in life, it's all happening at the same time. So for some women, you all of a sudden found yourself that you're having to make these major financial money decisions where you didn't have to do this before. Or you may be someone who have been making these financial decisions for yourself all along because you may be single, but you also at a point you start to realize, well, I've been doing okay, but I have not been building. I have not been focused on building. Building what? Building wealth. Why is that important? Well, you know what? Building wealth is what gives you sustainability. Otherwise, you're going to have to keep making money to sustain your lifestyle. So what are some of the specific needs for women in midlife? Well, more than ever before, women in this phase need more clarity as to exactly where they stand. Not just in numbers, but also your whole life. Well, what do I want my life to be going forward? Also at a point where they really want to have a relationship with money that is not rooted in fear or shame. They're also at a stage, like I talked about before, they actually have a lot of wisdom in them. And so they're tired of feeling embarrassed about asking questions. So women in midlife, they really want to feel more confident about asking questions without feeling embarrassed. Or they want to be able to make financial decisions without having to second guess themselves. And finally, they also want to be able to fully take up any kind of financial conversations. And most importantly, they now want to have a strategy for building and growing their wealth so that they can get out of the rat race, right? When women reach the midlife stage, we are thinking about, okay, I love what I'm doing, but you know what? Sometimes my body is getting more tired. Maybe I would love to work a little less. Maybe I would love to travel a little bit more. And so how do I create a lifestyle that I can allow for all of that? So it's not just about family anymore. It's not just about work anymore. It's about me enjoying my life. So clarity on that is a very specific desire and needs for women in midlife. Now let's talk about, so who should you work with? Should you seek out a financial advisor or should you seek out a financial coach? Let me give you some parameters as a reference for you to consider. So you would seek out a financial coach if you often feel stressed, worried, anxious about money. Also, if you're someone who may have been avoiding looking at your bank accounts or thinking about your money or just thinking about investing, like money is something that you wish you never ever have to deal with, then you should probably seek out a financial coach first. Also, if you've had plans of financial goals, but you never seem to be able to achieve them and follow through, you should seek out a financial coach first. And if you're in some kind of major financial transition, maybe you are going through a divorce or empty nesting, or you're taking care of your aging parents, and there's a lot of question about what is your life going to look like going forward, then you may want to start with a financial coach. Also, if you're someone who you're at this point, you're like, I really want to learn about investing and I want to be able to invest my money, invest the money myself. And I just want to learn about investing, but I don't know where to start. I don't know how to start. I want to have somebody to teach me. Start with a financial coach. You are ready for a financial advisor if you're someone who have a very solid foundation and a relationship with money. Like you are doing very well in terms of your making money, your spending patterns, and you're consistently putting money away, and your assets, your savings keep growing, and you just really want an expert to help you manage and invest the money that you have already saved up, then seek out a financial advisor, because that's the quickest, most efficient way to help you get going on growing and building your wealth. Also, if you're someone who's looking for a kind of a comprehensive retirement planning, including estate planning, including insurance, including all of those, not just planning, but also the execution of those things, then you should also seek out a financial advisor. But honestly, I think most women need both, just at different stages. They can also be working in parallel. A good coach would tell you when you're ready for a financial advisor. A good financial advisor will also refer you back to a financial coach when they observe that you have some challenges in your behavior around money on a day-to-day basis. So a financial coach and a financial advisor, they're not competitors. Their work actually complement each other. They're simply different tools for solving different problems. And that's why I said at the beginning, it's so important to actually identify what is that key problem you're trying to solve at this moment. And so now let's talk about costs. As I mentioned before, hiring a financial advisor, it's usually a percentage of your total assets that you have under their management. For a financial coach, it's a coaching fee that each coach charges, which tend to be in the thousands, few thousands, depending on who you work with. Now, here's the thing I want to also talk about, the cost of not getting help. Sometimes I see people, they don't want to hire a financial advisor to help them invest their money because maybe deep down they don't trust other people dealing with their money. But also maybe they're thinking, I can save some money. I can save that percentage, that 1% of fees by just managing it myself. And in theory, that could work. But in practice, what I see a lot is that most people have their own career, have their job, they have family, they're busy with their lives. So even with all the good intentions, you don't necessarily end up spending the amount of time and efforts required to get the maximum potential out of the money that you have. So versus comparing a financial advisor managing your money, that's their full-time job. So they're looking after your money on a daily basis. Whereas when you try to manage it yourself, it often ends up becoming this afterthought because I'm busy with my life, I'm busy with work, family, and everything else. And then, oh, when I have some time, I will go look at my money. And oftentimes the investing moves, when you miss that window, that's when you miss the potential for growth, right? So what ended up happening is you actually don't even realize how much growth you have lost simply because your money hasn't been managed in a way that that it needs to be managed, simply because you don't have the time. Now, if you can consistently spend a lot of time on your money and studying it, sure, maybe you can do it yourself. But in most cases that I've seen is people have the intention of managing their own money, but at the end, in practice, it doesn't happen in the way that they had intended. So they end up losing a lot of money by not getting the gains that they could have gotten from financial advisor. Now, when it comes to coaches, again, similar things in that most people say, well, I can do this work on my own. Well, here's the thing. When it comes to working with your psychology and your relationship with money, oftentimes you don't see your blind spots. You can't see your blind spots. And that's true for all of us as human beings. It really takes someone else to reflect back to you of what's really happening and for you to be able to say, oh, that is what's been holding me back. And so when they look at spending money on a coach, they think, oh, it's an expense. Sure, it's a money that's going out, but it's a different expense from, say, you spending thousands of dollars buying a designer bag. What do you get? You get a physical bag that will, over time, sure, it gets the logo, but over time, it will get wear and tear. It'll get older over time. It's a thing that's outside of you. But when you spend the money hiring a coach, it's the money that invests in yourself. And that's the price that you can't even put a price on, right? Because imagine yourself no longer having fear and shame around money. How much more empowered would you be when you make all of your financial decisions? Or not even financial decisions, it could be anything in life, because you know what? Money shows up in relationships. Once you become self-empowered around money yourself, how would you show up differently in your relationship? Maybe you would choose a different career. Maybe you will make a different decision in your business, how you run your business. And again, the hidden cost of not hiring somebody, which is really about the hidden loss of potential gain that you can even measure. So I just want to point that out because it is part of answering your question of who should I use? What kind of help should I go out and get, right? Because whenever you get help, there's cost involved. So I think it's a very relevant thing for you to think about. All right. So I hope this video was helpful to you to get a better understanding of the landscape in the financial services world and help you to not only better decide, should I use a financial advisor or should I use a coach, but also some of the additional considerations that you may want to have on your journey to have a better financial future. And so if this content has been helpful to you, and if you want to hear more discussions and topic around money, meaning, and midlife, make sure you subscribe to the channel, but also leave a comment below of what other topics you would like to hear. And I do a video a week, and so I hope to bring you more helpful and useful content. And in the meantime, if you are someone who's thinking about, I really want to get some help, I want to have that map that help me, that directs me of what to do going forward, then you can click the link in the description below to schedule a complimentary strategy session. So check out the other videos in my channel. If there's a specific topic that you would like me to cover, be sure to put in the comment below.